We're going to call to order the June 21st, 2022 regular meeting of the Morrisville Borough Council. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call, please.
Yes. Mayor Anderson?
Here.
Captain Engelhardt?
Here. Here.
Andrew Lubin?
Here.
Vanessa Murray?
Here.
Dick Parker?
Here.
Bob Paul?
Here.
Scott Robinson?
Here.
Nancy Sherlock?
Here.
Our borough solicitor?
We're present. Scott Holbert and Randy Flager.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to 3. 3A is on the agenda, but we're not swearing in any offices at this time. But we're going to have Nancy Sherlock mention Pride Month.
Just a brief statement. June is Pride Month, and I'd like us to take this moment to celebrate the vast contributions that the LGBTQ individuals have made to our society, and to remember the generations of leaders and activists who fought for a more just and equitable America. And let us all recommit to the fight to uphold our shared values of inclusivity and freedom for all. So thank you. I realize it's the end of the month, but it's been 6 weeks since we met. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to, I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you said.
Let me turn this on. Is that on? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Prior to our meeting, we met in executive session. We discussed litigation involving 874 Pennsylvania Avenue, personnel matters, and labor negotiations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to public comment. I don't have the list, no. Don Rice is up first. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Don Rice, 343 Crown Street, Morrisville. In my comment, I will be referring to Scott Holbert's letter 5/3/2022 to letter Judge Gilman. Mr. Holbert says, there at no time was a planned development of Williamson Park. Here's the plan presented by Select Morrisville attorney John Van Lubany. Quote, we need to have council expand the borough redevelopment district, end of quote. Quote, we also need to talk to council about having properties that are owned by the borough transferred for purposes of the incorporation into this project, into the redevelopment authority, end quote. Quote, I cannot make an application for a land development plan approval unless I have an ownership interest, or in this case, it will probably ultimately be the RDA making the application. Mr. Holbert says, there was nothing improper about the manner in which the escrow account was established and utilized. Facts. First charge from the McGrath escrow account was on February 27, 2019. The escrow account was established May 3rd, 2019. Total charges to the escrow account before that date were $2,923. 12/21/2020, Council passes Motion 9J. The borough professionals and staff may now bill their services to Select Morrisville. Total escrow account charges prior to this date are $20,381.50. 12/10/2021, Flager and Associates charged the escrow account $51.50 for the filing fee to Orphans Court for their preliminary objection to Save Williamson Park's lawsuit. The escrow account contract requires its funds be used to provide, quote, services regarding the review and processing of its informal and or formal application. The filing fee is not such a service. Additionally, the filing fee reimbursement was part of an invoice totaling $6,569. It's assumed this was for work related to the lawsuit. It can only be assumed because the description field was redacted on all other escrow account invoices. Total charges to the escrow account through 2021 were $36,937.50. Mr. Holbert says, quote, Mr. Stratton claims the Morrisville Borough terminated the Williamson Park Trust Fund. This claim is incorrect, end quote. Mr. Holbert's claim that this claim is incorrect. I have a document from the borough entitled Termination of Henry S. Williamson Trust Fund. It states, quote, Borough Council hereby approves termination of the Henry S. Williamson Trust Fund, end quote, and is signed by the council president, secretary, and the mayor. That's all for now.
Thank you.
I have a question. Ted, can I ask?
Go ahead.
Save Williamson Park is still in existence as a group?
We're not only in existence, we're incorporated as a nonprofit now.
Oh, so are you guys working on endeavors to help the borough so that they could fix the park?
Yes, we are.
Oh, can you fill the council in on what those are?
We are looking for grants that we can get as Save Williamson Park Incorporated that would allow development, improvement of the park.
Be more specific, like what kind of improvements, or you don't know yet?
Be more specific at this time.
Okay.
For one thing, I am not doing that part. You might know I'm handling the litigation part. There are other members of Williamson Park besides me. I just got the biggest mouth of most of them.
Mary Horrenda? Mm-hmm. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Mary Renda, 343 Crown Street, Morrisville. I understand that some council members are tired of listening to people trying to convince you to save Williamson Park. Well, we're tired of having to do it. The way we see it is that saving Williamson Park for us and future generation is a job that needs to be done, and it's our right to address council about conditions in the borough that concern us. What I need to ask after all this time is, are you listening? We've spoken to you before about what an asset it is to have a nice big park next to the river. It's a reason why people move here and come to Morrisville to visit. We've told you about the mental and physical health benefits of having such a park, and frankly, Morrisville would not be Morrisville without it. At the February council meeting, you voted on a motion stating specifically that council does not support the concept plan of Select Morrisville LLC as presented beginning in August 2019 through December 2020. This motion was presented to SWP as a victory. Unfortunately, it's not. Under its provisions, we could be back here soon battling to save the park from a future developer. It does not limit the development or make any restrictions on development in Williamson Park. It just says you do not support that one development that is now, as I understand Mr. Flager said, defunct. A reason given by Mr. Flager as to why the park can't be preserved is the council can't bind the hands of future councils. But the court ruling that established this precedent are not relevant. They refer only to contracts entered into by council. If council voted to develop the park, that would bind the hands of future councils because the park would be gone. And I'm not talking this past development proposal, but somebody else could come because there are no restrictions. So somebody could come in and decide they want to develop the park, and here we'd be again. It's perfectly legal for council to preserve the park. Under the Donated and Dedicated Property Act, the park must always be held in trust as a park because it was bought with money donated to buy land for a park, and it has always been an active park. Furthermore, Title 32, Pennsylvania Statute Section 5005C1 empowers local governments to acquire land for a public park and thereafter limit the property for only that use. The lease on the part of the park that the Trenton churches own runs until 2038. I suggest that you develop a good working relationship with them before that time. I would like you to talk to your solicitor about the subjects that I've brought up this evening. And if that does not work out,
3 minutes.
please ask for a second opinion. Thank you.
Donna Gravel. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Donna Gravel, 37 Jesse Avenue. I would just like to ask you to not support changing the zoning of the parcel that was recently purchased from Staley, because I live in that neighborhood, and from what I understand, the proposal is for a warehouse to be built after the zoning gets changed to commercial. And we don't want that near our neighborhood because it brings so much additional traffic, truck traffic, noise, pollution. We want our neighborhood left the way it is. Or if anything, leave it residential and let them build homes. That's all.
Thank you. Eric Grable.
Eric Grable, 37 Jesse Avenue. Speaking on the same issue my wife just spoke on with the that parcel behind Staley, that we don't want to see it go to a commercial property. It stay residential, so that put homes back in there, but not a business, because we don't need all the traffic. It'll be going down every street. There's too many kids in the neighborhood now. We don't need all that truck traffic. Thank you.
I just wanted to clear something up. We're not voting. We're just voting to send our solicitor to the zoning hearing. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That's a decision that would be made at the zoning hearing.
Yeah, there's a zoning hearing application. Tonight's vote, if council wishes to take it, is to send our office to either support it or oppose it. But, I think the decision might be to oppose it if council wants us to do that, in which case we will present evidence and we will fight against this proposal at the zoning hearing board. I hope that clarifies what's happening tonight.
And that decision will be discussed at the point when the motion comes up. All right, moving on. Jane Berger. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. Jane Berger, 90 West Maple Avenue. I'm here to speak on item 8K, and I absolutely support having our solicitor attend the zoning hearing board, and absolutely want the council to oppose this variance. There is no need. I recall seeing some documents from 2013 where somehow the Bucks County Industrial Corporation somehow gave a certain number of acres, I think for the wonderful sum of $1, to the Staley or Tate and Lyle, wherever their owner is. I'm not sure why, and of course, as we know now, they've taken everything down and it's just a transfer station. That is zoned RN, a neighborhood. Hopefully we have a future that really will do that. Perhaps the individuals who bought this property really should have checked the zoning, as Tate and Lyle and the solicitors, before they entered into any agreement to buy it. Certainly more recently, maybe they're not familiar with this kind of large company called North Point that now owns the former U.S. Steel Corporation property, and their business is warehousing. So if there's a need for a company to have warehouse property, I suggest they go down to the North Point. We do not need any more truck traffic on our residential streets because Post Road is a short street and they're going to be up on Pennsylvania. We've suffered enough. There's no need for this. I don't see any basis for a justification for a variance. The onus is on JERC partners, and let them go someplace else. Please attend the zoning hearing and speak in opposition to that zoning variance request. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. All right.
Do we have a date for that zoning hearing board?
July 5th, isn't it?
Yes, July 5th.
July 5th.
I just wanted to verify for the residents.
Yes.
And that's a public meeting.
Public meeting here in this room, July 5th.
Okay. We have two individuals from Republic Services. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue with the residents, and then we'll come back to you. Joshua Kuntz.
Hello, I am Joshua Kuntz. I live at 40 Union Street, apartment 3, right over there. How's everybody doing? Nice to see you all. It's been a while. I would like to propose to the tribal council elders I am before right now some of my young adult spiritual callings from the world to see if this can be divined into reality. I have come up with a wish list for Morrisville for what I would like. I think that bureaucracy is very important, but part of the issue is that we need to realize that we are monkeys, that we are heartfelt, emotional monkeys that communicate with one another and try to change society through social endeavors. This is obviously very systematized and very good and is therefore half of the equation. But so I figured I'd give some wish list stuff. I think it would be lovely if we had this desire as a community to have grocery stores label which of our products are produced locally. Because one of the things that affects our society globally and climate change is the legwork it takes to get produce from one place to another place. And if we create an incentive as people who purchase things to only buy the local stuff or to prioritize the local stuff, then we've just cut out a huge swath of carbon emissions. And we have 8,500 people in this community. That's a little bit of a dent. We can actually do something. And that would be a lovely thing if we just wanted to do that. Having a more walkable community is also a very big thing that we should be trying to push, trying to connect the different places of nature in our society and in our community, because the more time we spend outside, the less time we're using electricity in our own buildings, the more time we're promoting health within ourselves and health within the environment as well. I think that there's a real need in our world to see that we can do more by doing less and consuming less and needing less, because our world is being demanded upon. And I also think that it might be worthwhile to look at our community and see that there's a renting population here, and that some new statistics that I've seen is about 50% of people around my age, between the ages of 20 and 30, are still living at home, which means that there's probably not that many places that are affordable to either buy or rent from. And we should probably be looking into ways of rent control of some kind, or ways to make sure that, even though I know, inflation is huge and, everything is getting way more expensive, that at least we aren't pushing people into positions where they're spending over a third of their income, which I don't know anybody who isn't spending more than a third of their income on just rent alone. But if we have the power to stop that a little bit, to curtail that for some people, then we alleviate some of the psychological depression on people in the ages of 20 to 30 and possibly even older than that, which we're going to need that psychological bravado and gusto to be able to volunteer and do things in the community and stuff. So that's my thing. Thank you very much for my time, and I hope everybody feels inspired for self-improvement.
Chris Moore from Republic Services. They signed up for public comment, so we'll hear them out. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Council. So myself and Mr. Fulgenetti came here tonight to give some clarification and resolution to the recent trash issues. I think a little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I have some projection. I don't want to hurt everybody's ears. So did you hear all that? Or
Could you please repeat your names?
Sure. I'm Christopher Moore,
Dominic Fulgenetti.
From?
Republic Services.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So we came here tonight to provide some feedback and resolution as to the recent trash issues that's been going on. Could go back and forth into semantics as to the why, but more I'd like to actually focus on the resolution as to what we're going to do to not have this problem happen again. Essentially, I sat down with my team, and there's 5 trash routes that are here on Thursday, 3 that are on Monday. So with my experience that I've had in the trash industry, about 10 years, starting out on the back of a truck, being a driver, all that, the way that we used to run routes was in teams. So if you're running a municipality, essentially nobody goes back to the yard until everyone's done. Whereas right now, it's very much of you do your assigned route, you do your assigned route, and sometimes some people don't complete, and now I'm struggling to find somebody to come over and, you know, pick up whatever's left over. From now, moving forward, this will actually start on Thursday. I already talked to all my drivers, both trash and recycle. Nobody leaves until everything's done.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't, questions, comments?
I do. I mean, it was really unacceptable what happened this past week. I mean, really unacceptable. Thursday, Monday. I don't know why the other wards in this town got picked up and the first ward was ignored, but that can't ever happen again. Never.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a long list of how that wound up happening. I don't feel like wasting your guys' time. I don't think you'd like to sit around and hear that either. But I agree with you, and I'm going to make sure it won't happen again.
And I also want to remind you that on the days you're not here, Republic trucks should not be going down South Pennsylvania Avenue in Morrisville. They need to be going to Route 13 to Tyburn Road to get to the trash bin. I see your trucks in our town constantly. Falls Township has an ordinance and they need to obey it, especially when they cross Post Road. I will be calling you guys the next time I see your trucks in our town, other than our pickup days.
Noted.
I'd also like to bring up just general respect for our community. I'll often come back home and all the garbage cans are in the middle of the road. They just threw them. And all of our cans are all busted up because they have such disrespect. And I did ask one young man, I said, look, you've left them all in the middle of the road. You know, it's a danger. That shouldn't happen. And I won't use the profanity he told me to off. And I said, okay, whatever, you know, obviously you don't care. But, you know, look at our garbage cans are in pieces because they don't care.
Yeah, that's wildly unacceptable. Unfortunately, right now, because of staffing issues, we have been using temp workers.
Oh, I'm sure. I'd never seen him before, but I thought...
They're not very invested, but my team, who is here working every day, highly respectable people. We care about the communities that we're working in. We care about our customers, and we take pride in the work that we do. If you follow behind my team, who is an actual part of the team member, putting the bins back correctly, making sure there's nothing loose on the ground, all these things are part of how we operate. So I apologize for you for that. It is unfortunate. Thankfully, we are getting staff back up. I have 2 more helpers who are going to be coming into the fold, and we'll be able to move away from the temp workers.
I do have to say, when you have your regular guys, they're very nice in my neighborhood, but I have noticed they haven't been on.
Yeah, there's been a lot, not only with our workforce, but if you look at any workforce in any industry right now, right, it's very fluid. There's people moving all over from job to job. So keeping the good people that we have has been very important to us. We've also had people moving from residential to the commercial line of business, all different things for one reason or another. But you know, it's about bringing in the new and developing the new employees about how we treat the communities that we work in.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yes.
I have something real quick to say. I know that the garbage and the recycling has been a contentious issue in town. I've had quite a few people complain to me. I'm just curious, is that situation down there on Center Street been taken care of with the people, because people were parking in a no parking zone and the truck wasn't able to navigate. Is that situation, Center Street, is that taking care of itself?
So as far as I'm aware, it's kind of fixed itself. I know they were talking about maybe trying to do some type of a no parking sign in the area, but the residents in that area are quite aware of when trash day is now, and they make sure that they're out of the way. There was also, for a short period of time, a low wire issue that's been solved. So for the most part, yes, it's been taken care of.
Okay. And believe it or not, you probably never your wildest dreams thought you'd hear this tonight, but I actually have to compliment one of your drivers. I had a small bag that I guess when I went by, they missed it because it was down. There was a car had parked right next to it. So I came out of my house a couple hours later. The timing was perfect. The driver was coming up East Palmer, and I was standing in the middle of a road holding my garbage bag, and he actually came up and stopped and was friendly and took my garbage bag. So, because he was going to make a left on the Pennsylvania, but he actually went straight across to get my bag of garbage. So I thought that was good service. So you do have some good people working for you.
I appreciate that.
I didn't get the truck number or his name, but one of your guys in Morrisville is a good guy. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Judith?
Yes. My issue is we began sending emails and telephone calls Thursday. I had sent emails Friday on top of Monday and Tuesday. Public Works Department doing the same thing, the director, staff downstairs. We have many residents who come into the Borough Hall upset, and they're upset with us because they're paying for a service that they expect the borough to make sure that they're receiving. And I think that part is missing in this whole scenario. Republic is not following through with their contractual agreement, along with having our staff have to take all this extra time to explain to the public what's going on, to please report it in our tracer, to please call Republic. What's happening is they're not calling Republic. At least that's what we're told by Republic. When I called, there were no calls to Republic, and I find that hard to believe. We in the office had received many calls and people had stopped in. And so it's imperative for you to understand that not only did you need a plan that you have come up with now for collection, but there needs to be a plan of reporting. And we've had this discussion when I arrived here last August. How can we accomplish this? I feel that this plan is failing, and this plan needs to be revised and re-looked at. We've sent emails, and it's not working. I didn't get a response, and neither did anyone. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, so to address that, I came in the office this morning and kind of gave a brief synopsis of what occurred. Our residential dispatcher was off that week. I had to take an emergency PTO day for that Thursday. So there wasn't really a residential representative with that, right? I had spoken to John earlier. I'll make sure that if, for whatever reason, I have to go handle some business personally, to let him know that I'm not going to be in the office. Also, as regards to the emails, when I started receiving them Thursday, I believe it was like 1:20, something like that. By 20 minutes later, I'm responding back. So if you have a direct line to me, obviously I'm keeping communication. If I'm not there, and in this case, Rob, our dispatcher, wasn't there as well. There is that group dispatcher email. It's like dispatch 3508. I believe that should be.
And I utilize that. Yes, I utilize that. We utilized every portion of information that we could utilize to get some type of attention. And I understand that 3 people were off at the same time, which created this issue, although that's still unacceptable. If there's no one there to address this, when people are off, you need to make the possibility of someone else being in charge so this does not ever happen again?
Absolutely. Myself, my manager, and our dispatch team, especially with how much this has escalated over the past couple of days, we've already sat down and pretty much closed the loop on that, what to do if this occurs again so that this doesn't happen again.
Thank you. And I just want to notate, I know it was mentioned downstairs this morning that you've helped the borough out in several ways. It is in your contract to help the borough out in several ways. It's in the contract for dumpsters to be at the municipal building, to be at the public library. It's in the contract to pick up sanitation, the business district on Main Street, Pennsylvania Avenue and Delmore Avenue, our park system. You're also supposed to sponsor at least 4 events a year with dumpsters, which we've only asked for 1 so far. So when it's said to the public that you're doing things for the borough above and beyond, you are doing things that are required under your contract, and we expect those items. There are other items as to the reporting of complaints and so forth that are not taking place, and we have requested those again. These are items we should not have to do just because there's issues. We expect you to uphold your contract and follow through with the items that are needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I brought that up this morning, more than anything, I was just talking to the point that we've had a pretty good relationship. Anytime up to this point, if there has been a failure in service, it's been recovered within 24 hours.
That's not true.
No?
No, it's not. No.
Okay.
Good.
But again, to my point, we've been doing what we can while we can do it for the borough whenever we can. I've pulled routes from other areas to make sure that we have drivers in Morrisville. Always a top priority. I'm here twice a week. I'm constantly in communication. So I was not alluding to the fact that we're doing you favors or anything, but other than that, we have a good report going.
Okay. All right. We're going to have to move along, but you were privy to my email where I discussed about being in default on your contract. You get 1 more time, and then we're going to move forward with legal action to separate from you. All right. It's just whatever we need to do. I can't keep getting these complaints twice a week, and I can't keep directing the public to make complaints. And then I find out that your office is telling us that there were no complaints when I've spoken to people who I've directed to call and who told me they called. And these are people I know. So these aren't just like flakes off the street. These are people I know personally who were directed to call and who called. And the person they spoke to, the woman they spoke to, didn't have any other complaints. That's what they were told. So we're done for the evening. I have to move along. It's 8 o'clock. We have a really long agenda. Just know that this is it. The next time we're going to start moving to remove the contract.
I was just going to say that the complaint logs, maybe that's something it's supposed to be done once a month. So that's something we could do over Zoom, kind of walk through any particular issues that happened that past 30 days, and then we can kind of keep this in check. So,
I mean, I can understand 1 or 2 houses or a couple of houses in a row, but an entire section of the borough.
So to your point, though, about the calls, I have a list of all the calls that came in from Morrisville. There was a substantial uptick in May, so we are getting them, and I did see that in our records.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have 1 more question.
Come on, Scott. Hurry up.
While the guys are up there. So Monday, I know that there was some confusion on Monday about the holiday. Because it's Juneteenth has recently been named a federal holiday. For the rest of the year, July 4th is on a Monday this year. So we will be getting picked up on Tuesday, garbage, and Thursday will be garbage and recycling, correct?
Friday. Our entire work week shifts 1 day.
Say again?
Our entire work week shifts 1 day.
Okay. And then now there is confusion among the residents with the work week shifting 1 day. Thursdays are Mondays are garbage only, and Thursdays are garbage and trash. So
recycling.
It's loud and clear right now. Tell all the residents on the week of July 4th. July 4th is a Monday. Okay, their garbage and recycling will be picked up on Thursday. The only day that's shifting.
Friday.
Okay, it'll be Friday, so it'll be Tuesday and Friday.
Yes.
Then Labor Day in September is a Monday, so it'll be Tuesday and Friday. And
That's
then
correct.
our next holiday will be Thursday, which will be Thanksgiving. Garbage and recycling will be Friday,
Correct.
correct? And Christmas is on a Sunday this year. Is Monday being recognized as a holiday, or will it be have trash pickup on Monday the 26th?
You will have pickup on Monday.
So it'll be Monday and Thursday. So the only 2 weeks out of the rest of 2022 that there should be any confusion will be July 4th and Labor Day. It'll be Tuesday and Friday that week. The rest of the year, it's going to be Monday garbage, Thursday garbage and recycling, correct?
Correct.
Except for Thanksgiving. Friday will be the, I'm sorry, Thursday is Thanksgiving. Friday will be garbage and recycling. Okay.
Yes, all right. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, we have to move on. Did I skip Todd? No, he was on the list. Did he speak? Oh. Oh. Todd, I'm sorry, I skipped over you completely. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
My name is Todd Sanford. I live in Morrisville Borough, Ward 1, 28 Dieter Avenue. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I support the motion to send a solicitor to represent Morrisville, the zoning board, motion 8K. I hope you vote and support that to send the solicitor. I don't want to see any more additional traffic. It's bad as it is, and I think it should remain as residential.
Thank you, and sorry about skipping over you. All right, we're going to move on to approval of the minutes. We don't have them yet, so we'll approve them next month. Moving on to item 6, which is finance. Before we go to finance, I do want to advise everybody on council that we're not going to be doing the Civil Service Commission appointment because we got another letter of interest, so we're going to pull that until next month. All right, so 6A is the treasurer's report to be provided at a later date. 6B is a call for a motion to approve the bill list. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Go ahead, Nancy.
There was a, let's see. There was a bill for a borough council meeting that was rescheduled. I noticed a legal advertisement. What was that we rescheduled? Do you recall?
Because it was a
Oh, so it was the May meeting. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. And then I am in full favor of this, the bill list, except for the, it's on page 6, 31,697, in the amounts of $989.20. 2 reimbursements.
Anyone else? All right, hearing no one else. Virginia, roll call, please.
No, I also had a
I'm sorry,
question. No, it's me. I also had a question about, everything was fine, but what are we reimbursing? Tolls and hotel. Why are we reimbursing tolls and hotel?
It's an item that's in my contract.
Okay, all right, so, I guess I have a problem with that because when you take a position, and that's normal cost of commuting, tolls, but hotels, I'm not understanding that. That's just something I have a problem with. Just in my years, I've never seen where we paid somebody to come to work. And that's basically what it is. We're paying somebody to come to work and we're paying for them to stay at a hotel. But we haven't paid you a salary. So that's just my personal.
I think this would be a good item to discuss in regards to my contract in executive session. It was an understood item when I took this position, and it's in my contract. It's not something that was just thrown out there. Understood that knowing where I was coming from and so forth.
Excuse me, Councilman Ted.
Yes.
I have a question. So is there a time limit on this? Is it 1 year, 5 years, 15 years?
I would like to, if you want to vote no on the bill list because of this item, you're more than welcome to do so, but I think this is something that we need to do in executive session. I believe we're discussing personnel compensation, which is something we don't do for anybody else in public, so.
Thank you.
Anyone else with anything else on the bill list? Virginia, roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Engelhardt?
Yes.
Mr. Waddle?
Yes.
Mr. Lubin?
Yes.
Ms. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherlock?
Yes, excluding those two reimbursements.
Can't do that.
Can't
It's
do
up,
that.
you can voice it, don't worry about it. All right. Go ahead, Virginia, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
It's okay, and Mr. Parker?
Yes. All right. Just note that we will be having an executive session prior to our next meeting to discuss contracts. So 6 o'clock prior to our next meeting. All right, moving on to report 7A, Mayor's report.
Thank you. First, like always, I want to thank all the people who came here tonight to place their comments, as well as the people who take time tonight and throughout the week to watch these meetings. And we really appreciate the fact that you care enough to get involved in that way. So thank you so much, as always. As someone else said, it's been a few weeks since we've been here, so I was proud to march in the Memorial Day Parade this year, something I have done many times before, but obviously a little different this year. So we want to thank the fire department, the police department, everybody who was not only involved in planning that, but everybody who participated in it as well. So it was really a nice day for everyone involved, as well as the people who got to watch. Great weather, so nothing to complain about there. We've definitely had some hot days for that parade in the past. So thank you to everybody. June, we got a couple things going on in June. I know it's a little late in the month, but as mentioned earlier, it is Pride Month. It is also National Men's Health Awareness Month, so it's not too late. I know it's toward the end of the month, but women out there, please remind your men. We know we need it, so thank you for that. We also recently celebrated both Father's Day and Juneteenth. So happy Father's Day and happy Juneteenth, everybody who celebrated those days. I was very happy to say I was proud to be part of something called I Care Day, which is done by our Single Parent Fellowship. Highly involved are Miss Crawford and Pastor Taylor. Obviously, there's a lot of other people that put this together. It was a clothing drive, informational event, programs for people who need it. And every time I've seen one of these events done, it just impresses me every time how much work is done and how many people go home happy with a little bit of help that they need. So like to continue to try to spread the words on those events. There'll be a back to school event as well. And they also do a Toys for Tots. So I'll keep mentioning those throughout the year. Congratulations to everybody at Morrisville High School, not only our graduates, but everyone else who finished the year and started their summer. So everybody have a good, safe summer. And that goes for all our residents. Summer is starting today. I don't know if you know, today is both the first day of summer, and it's also the longest day of light of the year, which I think we're running out of right now. But so enjoy those things. Get ready for the summer. Be safe. Have fun. And hopefully we'll have a couple other things that are on the agenda that we'll be talking about later. Like earlier, I want to circle back real quick, how I always like to thank everybody for coming here and keeping us accountable. Whether it be you show up today, you send us an email, you send anybody up here a phone call. So we have a couple school board meetings coming up, and I just think it would be a good idea with some of the issues we have to try to hold them as accountable as well. We have 2 meetings both tomorrow and next Wednesday, and yes, they are open to the public. There's some very important things on the agenda, whether it be the the school taxes, or whether it be the potential merger that's been talked about for many, many years. We all know it's being discussed again. So with these important items, and I know how important they are to the public, I would just suggest that anyone who has the time maybe show up and check that meeting out. And lastly, I just want to make the public aware that I have started conversations today with Chief McClay, with our manager, with our attorneys, and with all of our counsel in reference to starting to staff our police department. So as mentioned earlier, we talked about some staffing issues, and I will keep up to date when I can, but I want everybody to know that not only does everybody up here take public safety extremely seriously, but everybody up here also takes the budget and the finances seriously as well. So I will keep everybody updated as I can. Thank you so much. Have a great month.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
7B, Police Chief's Report.
Sort of in a tough little spot tonight. Now you're speaking to council about our shortage of police officers, and I don't know how much he got into this with you. So I'm going to briefly just throw a couple points out there so everybody knows. I don't think you got the list yet from our civil service, did you?
Yes, I just received it today, George, this afternoon.
Okay, there's 3 people on that list.
4. There's an updated list. I'll provide it to you then. There was a very late update, last minute.
There's going to be 3 people on that list. Okay? And I'll discuss that with you later. 2 of those people are already part-time officers with us now. And 1 is a person that is not trained yet. But just like listening to the trash guys tonight, everybody's hurting for bodies. We're going to have to make a move very, 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 very soon to hire some of these guys. The 1 officer, he was a part-time, is sitting number 1 on another list. The other officer is now working at Temple. He'll come back. But I don't know if the other one, if he goes to Montgomery County, will come back. There's only very few people on these lists anymore. And as everybody knows, we're down to 7 full-time guys working the street. So we really need to look at all this. And I understand money's tight, but we got money that came in from the federal government, who the president came out and said, please hire police officers. Okay, so we really have to think about this seriously of how we're going to do this. We have more money coming in another month or 2. All right, I cannot continue with 7 officers on the street. God forbid I lose another one, and I'm down to 6. All right, we really, I don't know how to make this any more serious than where we're at now. Brad won't be back for 12 weeks, 16 weeks, I don't know. So I know the mayor was going to talk about this tonight, and but I just wanted to reemphasize that we really got to do something. We got to do it soon. Okay, we don't have time to wait. You're going to see that there's again, I'm back to the 30-hour rule. I need to ask for that to be extended out to whatever I need to work. They're a lot cheaper. I'm hiring full-time guys left and right to cover the street. I'm working 3 tours this week. I'm working. So it's urgent. We're at that point now. It's urgent. You see, we're doing a national night out. It's sponsored by the police department as well as the fire department and the Solid Rock Youth Center. We're going to be working together along with the mayor. We have a pretty good group together, and I think we're going to put on a nice show that night. I think that's it for now. Anybody has any questions?
I do. Some of the businesses from Mill Pond approached me, and they would like, I mean, I don't know how to word this, so don't, but they would like a little more presence of the officers to try to control traffic, or for you to talk to the owner of the fireworks store to control the traffic with the 4th of July coming, because it just becomes unbearable for them to continue to conduct business.
best we can.
Okay, so I'm not putting you on the spot, but can I tell them that you will talk to the owner of the fireworks place?
I will do the best I can.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Parker?
Go ahead.
Chief, two things. One, there was definitely an uptick in theft. I was just wondering, is that petty theft, or does that include the cars that were?
Well, you saw I put something out on the Facebook page about the car thefts. Something's going on in the region. I'm also on the same task force with New Jersey to watch these car thefts. The last 3 days, New Jersey had 165 cars stolen.
The state of New Jersey or just locally?
The state of New Jersey. We've had definitely an uptick. It's a lot of people being lazy.
Okay.
Leaving their key fobs in their car, leaving their extra set of keys for their other car, leaving the cars open. Just the other day up in Upper Makefield, they lost 2 Porsches out of a driveway. I talked to an officer today from Harvey Cedars, Long Beach Island. Almost every day they're losing a car. Same thing. Leaving the key fobs in your expensive cars and thinking nothing of it. So that's our only uptick in that. Everything else is basically the same, but that has gave us a pretty good 30% raise in crime over the last, since the beginning of the year. So yes.
The other question, I was wondering if you were planning on going to the lessons learned that the Bucks County Planning Commission is offering. Did you get that? No? It's called Lessons Learned, the Sandy Hook Elementary School Telecommunicators Response.
I've been to programs for that. You know the lessons they've learned. I'm more interested in the lessons we learned down in Texas.
Yeah, okay.
Tremendous police response that day. There's a guy in Florida that was the one-seat SWAT commander who was a friend of mine down in Sandy Hook. I had dinner with him about it, so I'm pretty good. We sent all our guys to the FBI training that has been given over the last 6 months. So we're pretty good with this. We know our job as compared to what occurred down in Texas.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if there was new lessons to be learned, that's all. And if it's some of the, well, we don't really have the manpower to send anybody away to classes right now, though,
Right now,
I would imagine.
We sent 6 out of 8 are full-time guys already to them.
Okay.
There's going to be more classes coming up in September with the same FBI alert training.
Thank you.
So yes, we are. We know our job, and I was horrified at what's occurred in Texas. I still can't get over that whole situation of how you stand out in the hallway. We all learn we go in, whether you're first guy, 2 guys, whatever, you go in and you take out the threat. That was wrong. Any other questions? All right. If anybody has any questions about my manpower or where we're going or how, please call me.
Okay.
All right. We really, meet with the mayor. We really got to get this moving before we, go any farther.
Thank you, Chief. Go ahead.
Chief, I just want to say thank you for your sense of urgency.
Thank you, Chief. All right, 7C Managers Report.
Thank you, Council President. I'll try to hover over some of the important items. We talked about the Bridge Street project. Right now, we're just waiting for our last review for work to begin, hopefully in July. I had contacted the county regarding CDBG grant funding to provide possibly a match for Williamson Park that we have a planning grant for currently. We currently have a $50,000 planning grant, which we need a $50,000 match for. That match is for engineering, and CDBG will not fund engineering costs. The grant that we currently have is a DCNR grant, so if we were to get another DCNR grant, there would be another 50% match requirement for that also. So that would not be a viable item to try to pursue. So really what we're trying to do at this point is look for grants that do not need a match, that can be utilized as a match for the current DCNR planning grant that we have at this time. While the county did inform me that they cannot help us with the funds for Williamson Park because it is engineering based, they can help us with a grant application that was processed some time ago, was between $500,000 and $700,000 for the Manor Park. At this time, what they would be able to do is provide us with $250,000 towards the Manor Park, although we would need to find donations for the engineering that would need to be taken care of for Manor Park. And I'll let there be discussion on that. In fact, I know that one of our council persons was working towards that.
Yeah, so I just want to reiterate, I do have organizations that are willing to donate. So I haven't gotten together with you to get that list together, but once we do, you can reach out to them to see if you can find a match, which would actually be better because they were willing to donate to create the whole park. This would then alleviate it. They wouldn't be doing the whole park. They would only be doing the engineering fees.
Certainly, and I do have a meeting with one entity, a Zoom meeting tomorrow with one entity regarding hoping to be able to try to pull some funds as a donation based. They had reached out to me in regards to Williamson Park. I'm sorry, not Manor Park. Yes, I apologize, but thank you.
Judith?
Yes.
Is part of that $250,000 going for remediation of that land because it was built on a landfill?
Yes, it was. There was a whole plan that the engineering firm had put on. I mean, this is going back 2 years, so you probably don't have it. I can forward it to all the new members.
I'd heard that we lost that, so I'm glad to hear that we haven't lost that.
No, we lost the money, but that plan is still out there.
Oh, okay.
And that's the plan that has been submitted to the county in order to get the funds. So they had a whole list. We'd have to go through it and figure out what we want. Well, you guys, the Parks Committee, will have to figure out what you want to keep, what you want to stay. But it was grading the land. There was even like putting up a gazebo, but I don't think we need a gazebo down there. That's my opinion. And there was a whole list. It was a whole one-page list, but I'll forward that to all the new members so that everyone has it.
Thank you so much, and that's great news. Thank you.
Anything else, Judith?
Certainly. We're working on hiring a finance officer. I had entered into a contract with Josiah Consulting regarding our current accounts. We're also working on a job description and an ad for a full-time new hire for Public Works Department. This is something that has been in the budget. We just have been unable to acquire that at this time. So it's not something new. It's not an addition to the budget. It's been in the budget.
And this was a replacement?
Correct.
Okay.
Replacement for a retired person.
Okay.
Let me see here.
Sorry, Mr. Parker. I was just wondering, well, actually it's for Judith. I've been receiving a lot of calls regarding the new Keystone initiative, I'll call it. And I was just wondering if there's anything different or new that we should let the public know, or just a statement about the 1%. I'm sorry.
Oh, the earned income tax?
The earned income tax, yeah, from Keystone, the letter from Keystone that everybody's receiving.
Certainly, everyone received a letter from Keystone. We have set up downstairs in the office copies of those letters in case anyone needs them. Anyone that calls the office that needs information, there's a telephone number and there's an email address on those letters. We've been encouraging anyone that does have questions to contact Keystone. They are the question persons to go to. They have the answers, not the borough office. So we encourage people to call them or email them if they do have any questions. Collection will begin July 1st, and we don't anticipate any payments till most likely October, November. And then the fourth quarter, we will not receive until next year, most likely January, February of 2023. So at this time, we're just working towards collection addresses, making sure that they have the correct information and everyone fills out their forms and submits them to their employers and so forth. If you haven't done that, please do that because that's very helpful for the update.
So you have some blank copies because we all have to fill out one as well.
That was in the, yes, it was in the council packet for everyone and in the council drop. It was in the council drop, and we also have them at the borough office.
I think it was in an email, not the drop, right? I think.
Yes, I think I sent it in an email. I thought it was in the drop also. If it wasn't, I apologize. I thought it was in both. But if it's not, you can certainly acquire copies from the office if you don't have it.
I guess that was it. Clarification, though. Someone was, the number of phone calls I received. If you have an address in Morrisville and you live here, that's why you're paying. So for those who, there's I had one call that someone said that this is the address that they use. They're a child, an adult child, but they don't really live here anymore. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but change your address, I suppose. So it has to do with working and living in Morrisville. So we're all getting the ire from the residents.
I think basically if you file a tax return with Morrisville Borough as your address return, you're paying an EIT.
That's what they use to make their list. You're absolutely right. So.
Correct.
Do you have anything else, Judith?
No, thank you.
Anyone have any questions before we move on? All right, hearing none. Moving on to 7D, committee reports. Anyone have a report?
I do for Parks and Recreation. We had our May meeting, May 25th, here at the Borough Hall. It started at 7:05, and in attendance was myself, Catherine Price Engelhard, also Nancy Sherlock, council member, and Andrew Lubin was not available because he was in Paris.
Enjoying myself.
Yes, not feeling guilty at all. And also in attendance was Deborah Colgan. The motion to approve the minutes was made by Nancy and seconded by me, and a couple corrections. One was about Andrew Lubin's son does not work at Home Depot. It's his son's military commander that does, right?
Correct.
Yes, we corrected that. There was I did some bullet points this time. Discussion regarding the placement of some new tables and benches and where or if they've been placed. And so I was wondering about those, if they had been placed, the ones from Waste Management yet. Do we know?
John?
I don't believe they've been placed yet. I don't think Waste Management brought them.
Okay.
I think they stopped by to talk to John, but he was on vacation. Am I correct? And so then I don't know if they followed up with you or not.
It'd be good for us to know when that might happen. If you could just because it'd be a great photo op if Waste Management at a later time could come as a donation.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And we talked about Rotary Club's consideration of revamping the current stage, but we haven't heard anything more about it from Morrisville. Reinvent, what's it, Morrisville? Sorry. Imagine, yes. The borough lot on Delmar Avenue, where there had been staging for the trucks for the curb project, has been cleaned up by the vendor, and it looks great. What still needs to be done is that area on the hill. That is the responsibility of the borough. And it was suggested by Debbie Colgan that that maybe Jim O'Brien, who had offered to help us, we contact him and see if we can get a volunteer event. But I need to talk to John to make sure that's feasible or reasonable to do. The borough lot, moving on, tree planting in the park. So we've got a grant offer to plant more trees, and we met with MEAC and some volunteers to see where we'd like to put them. And John was not able to be there because he was on vacation, also having a great time. But we looked at the area that the ones had been cut down because of disease, and that was suggestion. But we're still pending whether we can even do that because the trees are $55 a piece. So,
if I may, Ted and I had informed MEAC that we do not have this monies in the budget for this year. It was said to me that possibly MEAC may be able to find some donators. So I'm not sure. So at this point, the borough would not be contributing. But if MEAC were able to come up with some donators, that could possibly change for a grant application.
So, but we did identify the area where those, was it 5 trees? Yeah.
Yes, and I've informed MEAC that John would be the final reviewer due to the fact that they maintain the park and they certainly know what they need and do not need. So thank you very much for that, though.
Yes. MEAC has requested shrubs and plants from the Philadelphia Flower Show display. They would be free, but at this time we have not heard anything back and probably won't hear back until the show's over. Oh, okay. Yes, Elaine, got it. Sorry. Update, yeah. So we're still moving on with August 5th as a food truck event in the park. And we'll have bouncy house and activities for the children. And all the vendor fees will be paid to the borough. We're also doing, at this time, we have, I think, 5 food trucks for August 5th, and for October 9th for the October Festival. I think we have 9 vendors. I went in the other day and I think
I'm not aware of how many vendors at this time, but what I was asking for, would there be anyone who could put together some sort of flyer that we could certainly place on our website?
Yes, and I'm working on
the
that.
TV channel?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Once you have that, if you could provide that to me.
I was trying to get a final count of how many are available. So
sure, and even if we could get basic information of the date and the time and so forth.
Exactly, you're right. And I am behind on that, so I apologize.
Well, no, thank you very much.
And then discussion regarding the murals. The Morrisville Coalition is ready to paint them, but we're still waiting to find the right muralist. And after contacting artists, they will keep the borough posted on those.
And Catherine, they'll need to stop into the borough office and make a sign application for this that will go to the council. So time-wise, as soon as they can get that application in, it'd be very useful. That way we can get the ball rolling and we wouldn't be holding them up in any way.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Additional topics that we talked about is, and one of them's already been taken care of, about the borough hanging the new basketball nets. And also some activities was having a possible bike rodeo for children in the park with the assistance of the Bucks County Transportation and Management Association. And then we talked about the $15,000 from the park plant grant that we haven't used out of that 50. Is it possible to have Gilmore talk to us about that?
I had asked Gilmore to put together a synopsis for me, which I will have to provide to council.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's what the billing actually is that you've seen against that grant. It was for them to put the information together for me so I can provide it to council.
I had asked Judith, is that you're talking about the 11250 for the park, the C2P2? Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the last thing is the group, we discussed about getting volunteers to paint the food shack, and if that was possible, and if we get volunteers and donation paint, just to make it look nice.
Certainly. MEAC has donation forms. If you work through them, she is very good about having everybody fill out those forms for events such as that. If not, if you're not going through the MEAC, the borough office, Lorraine, has those event forms along with the sign-off sheets for volunteers.
Great,
so if you could please just have them fill those out, and your event can take place.
And then we adjourned at 9 p.m. and our next meeting is June 22nd. No, it's not June 22nd. It's incorrect. It's next week. June 29th, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, that's the end of reports. We're going to move on to action items. 8A is a call for a motion to approve the Labor Day picnic to be held in Williamson Park on Monday, September 5th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., rain or shine. Can I have a motion?
So, go ahead.
I so move.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion?
I have one quick question. This is actually for the mayor. We have a 5 p.m. end time, but I think the past years we've realized that really is, and I'm only speaking from my experience, and maybe not others. By 4 o'clock, most people are leaving because the car show leaves at 2. What do you think, Ted? We were there last year. I mean, I didn't know if the 5 o'clock was how we're the time frame for the use of the park, or is the event
The
actually
use of the park.
I think it's more for the use.
It's for the
And I
use, not
put it
necessarily.
in.
Oh, not okay. So the last hour is really just for cleaning up, not.
Yeah, I think people, just like you said, they'll leave when they leave, and then, whatever, if I'm the last one there, I'm the last one there, but thank you.
My name's on the thing, so me too.
No worries.
But by 4 o'clock, I'm just saying, if we're still going on,
Or if they
people are
sell
going to
out.
linger. So
Or if they sell out of food like last time.
that's true too. Will you be selling hot dogs?
Once it's voted on, then I'll start giving out details to the public.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. 8B, a call for, to approve recognizing September 2022 as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, along with support of hanging ribbons on trees around Morrisville Borough and the Turn the Town's Teal campaign. Turn the Town's Teal proclamation to be read by Mayor Anderson. Would you like to read that?
Does he need it?
Well, usually they read it first, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted. Whereas ovarian cancer is called the silent disease because its symptoms are often vague or subtle. And whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th leading cause of cancer deaths among women and the leading cause of gynecologic cancer death in the United States each year, more than 22,000 women are diagnosed with the disease and approximately 16,000 die from it. And whereas if detected in early stages, survival from ovarian cancer is 90 to 95%. Yet the 5-year survival rate for the disease is only 28% because it is so difficult to detect early. And whereas all women are at risk, and whereas the Turn the Town's Teal campaign was launched by Gail McNeil during her 10-year battle with ovarian cancer. And whereas raising awareness of ovarian cancer is the goal of TLT Foundation, and whereas Kaleidoscope of Hope, the Atlantic Health System, and the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition Northern New Jersey are partnering to promote awareness of ovarian cancer through the Turn the Town Teal campaign. And whereas Morrisville Borough will participate in the Turn the Town Teal campaign with teal ribbons adorning downtown trees and structures. And whereas Morrisville Borough encourages all businesses and residents to participate and showcase teal ribbons. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Borough of Morrisville declares September as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month and support the Turn the Town's Teal Awareness Program. Resolved this day, 21st day of June, 2022, in council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Here.
I have a, yes, please, just a comment that I'd like to thank over the years, all those who participated, and I'm hoping that people will actually adorn their homes as well. It's not just, the businesses or not just borough properties. And we always have a basket available with the ribbons at the Borough Hall. And if I could bring up at this time the TLT chapter, the local chapter, they had contacted me last week and asked, this is of course only with the council's permission and acceptance. The person that created the chapter here, this local chapter, was Jean Shippos. She lived in town for 45 years or more until she passed away in December of 2020, of ovarian cancer after a 20-year battle. So they are looking to plant a tree and put a bench in her honor. It would be at their cost, of course. But I just told them I would bring it up tonight because we have this particular proclamation. So I'm not asking for, that to happen this evening, but I'd like to think about it, and possibly they could send a formal letter asking that. I don't see any downside to having another tree in the park or another bench, but there could be some objection. But so I will just let them know that they really should send a formal letter of request, and then maybe we'll see what happens after that.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
And I'd just like to add real quick that I also would encourage everyone as possible to participate. And if for any reason you can't put a ribbon up, can't come get one, any reason at all, you're welcome to call me, and that's something I'd be willing to help with. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing nothing, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. 8C, a call for a motion to approve Police Directive 128, clean and JNet usage.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
I have a question. Since that unfortunate incident with one of our officers, has there ever been an audit on the JNet system? I'm sorry? I said, due to the unfortunate incident where one of the officers used JNet, has there ever been an audit since that event of the JNet system?
Yes.
And everything is in complete compliance?
Joseph Binkar and myself are in charge of that now. The problem back then was the person who was arrested and went to jail was in charge of the system. So sort of like the fox watching the hen house.
Okay.
So no, everybody's audited.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Right. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 8D, call for a motion to adopt the Bucks County 2021 Hazard Mitigation Plan Update Resolution. The Bucks County 2021 Hazard Mitigation Plan Update is hereby adopted as the official hazard mitigation plan of the county and of the respective officials and agencies identified in the implementation strategy of the Bucks County 2021 Hazard Mitigation Plan Update are hereby directed to implement the recommended activities assigned to them. I think we need another hazard mitigation thrown in there. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
I have a question. Is this different than what we did last year? The reason I'm asking is because they already had one pickup in the spring. We usually always have one in spring and August. So is this different or new? Because it says 2021.
This is an item that was supposed to be accomplished before I arrived, and it was not accomplished, and I had come upon this, and that's why it's before you now. It should have been done.
Okay.
And now
had we paid that bill? I mean, I can't say I researched that when the bill came in. Like, I don't know that we always did we did a motion, but I was just curious.
We haven't received a bill as of yet, although
we will now.
We're at the beginning of a process that should have been done in 2021.
Okay.
So I'm unsure what will follow.
So will we have to do another one for 2022? I mean, this is 2022, so I'm just wondering.
At this time, they only have the 2021.
Okay.
So when we'll hear more as time passes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. 8E, call for a motion to adopt a resolution acknowledging and recognizing the week from May 15th, 2022 through May 21st, 2022 as National Public Works Week.
So moved.
I'll second it. Discussion? We apologize. Yes.
Thanks for all the hard work, John, later.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
John just went downstairs for something for me, so
he's
he's not
missing
getting
it.
to hear this, so we'll have to thank him after the meeting.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. 8F, motion, call for a motion to approve the event date of August 2nd, 2022 for the annual Night Out event in Williamson Park, contingent upon all necessary forms and paperwork being submitted and approved.
So moved.
Motion and a second, discussion?
I guess we'll hear, the chief said we'll hear more as we get closer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. 8G, a call for a motion to approve the Morrisville Business Association sponsored car show to be held on Saturday, October 1st from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., rain date of Sunday, October 2nd, and to authorize the Borough Administration to submit the permit paperwork completed by the Morrisville Borough Business Association, I added Borough, to PennDOT. The location of the car show will be on East Bridge Street between Delmore and Pennsylvania Avenues, and it is at no cost to the borough.
So moved.
There's a little note at the bottom. It says, please note setup and registration is at 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Car show starts at 9 a.m. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Best of luck.
8H, call for a motion to approve the advertisement of the Portnoy ordinance approving appointment of the solicitor, interest assessment and attorney fees and collection fees added to the amount collected as part of the unpaid municipal claims for delinquent sanitation fees account.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
Yes, it's my understanding this is an addendum. It's actually a new one with different new prices. Correct. I do have a question about the one fee that it seems to be new. It's called the payoff fee. It wasn't on the original. Providing guaranteed payoff to third parties is $25. Could you explain that? That's right on page 2. I was just wondering what that is.
I'm sorry, on page 2?
Page 2 yes. It's Exhibit A at the bottom line. And it wasn't in the former contract, so I don't, does that mean we get $25?
I'm sorry, Nancy, you're talking about validation notice or? Thank you.
What this really is we call it borough municipality tax certification. Buying a house, selling property, whatever is due and still owing is certified with people, and this is the legal process of what it is. The borough has its own for taxes, the municipalities that want to report off as the collector will do the same thing. They're all collecting.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. I wasn't finding what Nancy was talking about.
It was an exhibit, I just found.
It was in Exhibit A.
It was exhibit, I'm looking for
Yeah.
the picture.
Oh.
I was looking for page 2.
It had a number 2 at the bottom, that's why I said 2, sorry.
Passing in the bottom.
Thank you.
But anyway, so this seems to have been successful up to now, so I see the need to extend this.
It's
for
been
sure.
very successful.
Are there a lot of unpaid sanitation?
Yes.
Okay, anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. 8I, call for a motion to accept the resignation of the Morrisville Municipal Authority Board Member Victor Cicero.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? I would just like to thank Victor for his time. He taught me a lot when I first joined it, and I appreciate that very much. Anyone else?
I'd like to second that. Victor has been a big part of this town for quite a long time.
Yes.
I'd like to thank him for everything he's done, from borough manager, police chief, Holy Trinity dad, everything. So Victor's been around a long time. Good guy.
Yes. All right. Anyone else? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. 8J, call for a motion to advertise the Morrisville Municipal Authority vacancy. The term expires January 6, 2025, to be advertised on all the Morrisville Borough public portals. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. I don't really think we need much discussion, but does anybody have anything to add? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. 8K, call for a potential motion after discussion regarding the zoning hearing notice for, I guess it's JERC Partners. Not even going to try that. LLC. Is that 76?
Yep.
It's getting a little bleary-eyed at this point. At East Post Road, Riverside Avenue, and South Delmore Avenue in Morrisville, PA. I'm guessing that's the hearing number? So it's hearing number BCT.
A tax parcel.
Oh, okay, property tax number. All right. BCTMP. Okay. 20-00-0031 on whether council will or will not direct the solicitor to attend on behalf of the borough.
So moved.
Just a second.
It's discussion first, right?
Just, it's one thing for us to attend, but you have to tell us what you want.
Right, we'll
We're
get
10
to
to
that.
oppose, 10 to support, 10 just to ask questions. So
We'll get to that.
that should be part of your
All right,
motion.
we have a motion. I'll second it.
No, you need that in the motion.
Oh, do we?
you know? Yeah, because you,
Why didn't it say that?
that's, I thought I said that.
No, all right.
Okay, well,
This
if I
was
was
potential,
unclear, I
this was a
apologize.
potential motion that you really,
We were supposed to after discussion.
right. So we didn't discuss yet.
All right.
Okay.
Show of hands, who wants it to be opposing?
Aye.
Wait, opposing what?
Opposing the
Opposing the
the
development,
variance.
the development.
No, the motion is to send the attorney to oppose. So is it
Oh, it's
to,
not to oppose it. It's- Is it?
Yes.
Yes, it's,
You want us, okay.
Then maybe these motions should be made in English so that I can actually read them and understand
If I'm
them.
not mistaken, you want us to go there and be against.
against the variance.
The zoning.
Yes. You want us, because I think it's a use
It
variance.
doesn't say that.
Yeah, it's a use variance, which is the hardest to get. And that they don't have, it's not by right. And you want us to oppose that, legally oppose, which I think what the majority council wants us to do,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, is to go to the zoning hearing board meeting for this tax parcel on July 5th, which I think is a Tuesday night at 7 PM, and oppose the application of Jerk Partners.
correct?
Yes.
It's JERC. How would you pronounce it?
Exactly.
It doesn't say that to oppose or not to oppose it. That's not what the motion.
That's because we need a new motion. I mean, this motion
Because we
was just
needed to discuss it.
Right, this motion was just to discuss.
So the motion, so I will make a motion to amend the motion.
Or make a new one, Helen?
You could just make a new motion? Okay, so the motion is,
I'll let the solicitor read the motion. Do as a motion that's
you need a
for the record to oppose, for us to send you to oppose the zoning.
If council so wants us to oppose it, then the motion should state that you're sending the solicitor to the zoning hearing board meeting on July 5th to oppose the relief sought by JERC Partners 76 LLC for Bucks County tax map parcel 24-011-031.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would like to add, I'm glad to see that most of us up here aren't in favor of this particular, and because I'm not going backwards. As Jane Berger had mentioned, some years ago, we changed the zoning down there to be Riverview neighborhood. And the whole idea is to make it back into a neighborhood. The minute that Tate and Lyle were leaving, that was the vision. So I'm hoping, now Tate and Lyle, I understand they sold the property, but I'm hoping that we prevail.
I'd also like to ask any residents out there to attend the July 5th meeting at 7 p.m. and voice their displeasure or approval of this plan to build a warehouse back there. I am opposed to building a warehouse back there. I think it should stay Riverview neighborhood zoning.
I am adamantly opposed to it. That is precious.
Can I ask that council not express any opinions other than what you've already done for legal purposes?
Okay.
Okay? Some of which are legally irrelevant, some of which are relevant, some of which are prejudicial potentially to your position. I would ask that you just vote on the motion, and if you want to attend, please do on July 5th. Thank you.
On the advice of the solicitor, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. 8L, a call for a motion to approve moving forward with the Bucks County CDBG grant funding from 2020 for the Manor Park application with a revised application in the amount of $250,000 pending acquiring donations to pay for engineering work.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. 8M, call for a motion to potentially approve a temporary waiver of the 60-hour biweekly limit for part-time offices through August 31st, 2022.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. I'll say I'm okay with it. I believe. We can extend it. I believe it needs to be, but we'll do that at the appropriate time. But that's just my feelings on it. Anyone else? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. All right, that is all of the action items. We do have some potential appointments. The Civil Service Commission appointment has been removed because we got a late addition for a letter of interest for the position. So the one that's up is the Library Board. It's a 1 3-year appointment, the remainder of an unexpired term, which expires on March 1st, 2025. We have one letter of interest from Franklin L. Hedberg.
I'd like to make that, I'm sorry.
Nomination.
That nomination, thank you.
All right, we have a nomination. Do we have another? We have a nomination. Do we have any others? Last time we have a nomination. Do we have any others? All right, so the motion is for Franklin A. Hedberg. Probably butchering his name, and I apologize, but All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Congratulations. Any other business?
Not to vote on, but.
Okay.
I just wanted to announce to council that we had submitted a request to PennDOT to do a traffic study on South Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't have the results of that study. People seem to have misplaced it, so I don't even know where that stands. However, I did have a conversation with PennDOT this week, and PennDOT is going to approve reducing the speed limit on South Pennsylvania Avenue from 30 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour. They are also going to go and, within the next 2 weeks, they're going to go down that road and they're going to figure out where to place those new speed limits. They are also very emphatic about Cleveland Avenue, where the senior center is, and South Pennsylvania Avenue, and they are going to make sure that we have that intersection very lit with a pedestrian crossing. It's going to be lime green, it's going to be big, and so then they too are going to measure and mark where those signs are going to go. Once that is done, it will go to Judith, and Judith will then order the signs that we need, and I guess Public Works will then put them up. So I'm very pleased that that happened, and I can't thank PennDOT enough for that.
Very good.
Anyone else?
I'd like to comment for those who might not know, in our reports, we got one from our zoning from Barry Isaac. And people have asked about 101 Washington Street. That's the incubator building right there along the railroad tracks. So we did receive the action items from them. There's 7 small businesses will be in that property. You have a Squall Company real estate company. You have it's called 4 Love Haws Events, which is an event planner. The Lash Dolls Lashes, personal service. Body Beauty, another personal service. Space number 18, they're all listed by spaces. 19, Bayardi Studios, which is an LLC musician. Nay Slays Makeup, and TRL Studios. So that's what's going on at 101 Washington. So hopefully, I wish them success, and then in turn, wish Morrisville success. So after, this is actually for Judith, if we could, can we have an updated roster as soon as, I know that you're short-staffed and so forth, and I almost would be willing to do it. We haven't had a new roster in more than a year.
We do have an internal roster that we utilize for office staff. I'm not sure that all of that information that we have there is needed for council. So
I believe it is.
Okay.
It has all of the appointments, the commissions, and so forth and so on, and their numbers, how to contact them, what their when they were appointed, when they resigned, when there was a reappointment. And it fell by the wayside. It was always, intact until like last spring.
Certainly, I know that we work on that internally as much as we possibly can to keep it updated, and then we can get something to council in the future.
We have gotten it pretty regular in the past.
Sure.
But we did get one. I asked Ted to send me one. He sent one last winter, but it still had a former council person on the list. So it was old.
Certainly, and I was unaware that council had actually received the report that we work on.
Thank you.
What roster is this?
We'll work on
It's
that.
a roster of names of everyone on the committees and the boards and their end of their terms and stuff like that.
Well, isn't that on the website, on the borough web page?
Not necessarily the terms and so forth.
Yeah, not all the information.
Well, I know that we made a motion to add those terms. I know it could still happen, but if the end date terms were on the website, then we wouldn't really need that, right? Trying to do less paperwork, not more.
I have to look and see what's on the website to see if it matches up to what. But I would still like the internal copy too as well.
And it's not just the commissions. It's from. It's everybody, and not the employees. I'm sorry, but it's all the management, the commission, MMA. I'm trying to think what else is on there. So if we ever have to contact those people. And then we can also, all of us as a group can keep track of when those terms are up. I mean, there was a lot of confusion last year where we had approved one, but the date was wrong. Then we had to come back and do it again. And so, anyway, thank you.
All right. Since 9 kind of melded into 10, we're going to skip borough officials. And just real quickly, the Civil Service Commission announcement is irrelevant because we haven't voted on a replacement for the regular term. So there is one 3-year library board term that needs to be filled. That term is the remainder of a three-year term, which expires on March 1st, 2024. And then there is an opening on the Planning Commission. It's a 1 4-year appointment, which would expire in December 31st, 2025. So those are open positions on commissions and a board. So, all right.
The one for the library, a woman named Peg, who's been coming to the library board meetings.
Okay.
And when I asked about, she said she sent it in a couple of months ago. So I don't know.
I've been asked.
The only Peggy we got was Peggy Walsh.
Yeah.
I understand that. So I've asked her to resend it.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that because we've reviewed everything that we have gotten in and we have not received
I've asked
anything.
last time as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have anything.
she'll be resending that.
Okay. All right. Moving on to 11, adjournment. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
You just got that in. I don't know. That was like, we have to go to the videotape on that one. All right, go ahead, Scott.
Catherine mentioned it earlier. I wanted to reiterate. I drove by the other day that parking area there by the bowling alley. That park they did a really super job. They cleaned it up really nice. That's been an eyesore for a long time.
How did that happen, Judith?
One more thing. Some of you there may have known the family or not. Just asked to keep the Christ family in your prayers. Al and Carol Christ were longtime residents of Borough. Al passed away last summer. Carol recently passed away about a month ago. She was the president and the treasurer of the ambulance squad way back in the day when we had the orange ambulance out of the firehouse. She was a tax collector for quite some time in the borough, and just one of those women that were just, your friend's mom that just made Morrisville a fantastic place to grow up in back when I was a kid. So she passed away last month, and she was a good woman.
Thank you, Scott, for that.
That's all I have.
And to answer your question, Helen, how that happened at the parking lot was there was a construction company that was doing work in the borough for PennDOT, and they needed a place to stage their equipment. So John had come to me and we had discussed that area. That parking lot needed some tender care. So John and I felt that it was the best solution to allow the contractor to stage there and then ask them to rehabilitate the area for us after they left. So it was a win-win situation. The borough now has a much nicer parking lot area than it had in the past. So I think it was a good effort on John's part. Thank you, John.
So they did that for free?
Yes, they did that for free.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good work, John Later.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
We would just ignore you and go home anyway.
You'd be overridden. So what do you want? Do you want to go out for a bite to eat since it's early and go to the diner? Okay.